This is the Audi Q7 facelift. Yes, this is actually the second facelift of the very same car. Rarely does that happen that the same car gets two facelifts in its same generation. But Audi is like, let's give it a slight nip and tuck so that the car can be on sale for another 2 years. But it's not really a facelift as such because very little has actually changed. However, they've actually lifted the face because a lot of cosmetic changes have happened at the front. The key is the same as before. Lock the car, unlock the car, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. The Audi logo soldiers on the key. No, this is not China. Anyways, straight away, let's open the engine bay because the engine is also the same as before. Massive plastic cover here, the Audi logo, and if you notice, there's insulation there. Washer fluid goes in right there. It's a big engine bay. Yeah? This car actually deserves a V12 TDI engine, which the first generation model offered. But now the Q7 has kind of lost its charm because it has been on sale since a real long time now and not been updated. We'll talk all about that when driving the car, of course. In terms of the changes, the grille is actually new here. I like the older grille with the vertical slats because these elements seem to be plastered on. This seems to be the panel for ADAS but doesn't really have ADAS as such, and it gets a new bumper as well. The lights are new. I think the shape is the same as before, but the elements on the inside have been revised. These are OLED light that has been updated. Dynamic swipe indicators, it obviously gets a headlight washer, a feature most of the cars are not offering today. However, Audi still gives you the same. The bumper is also new. This is the front towing hook. In fact, there are big holes or openings for better breathing, of course. You get 6 parking sensors at the front. Look at the aggression with the openings so that the car can breathe better. You get a camera there for lane keep assist. You get a rain sensor, obviously, because rain sensing wipers. And in terms of the length, it is almost 5.1 meters. Meanwhile, the wheelbase happens to be 3 meters. But the design is a bit wagon-like. The first generation model looked awesome. With the second generation model, the car tamed down a bit. The tire size here has been increased from 19s to 20s, and the size of the tires is 285/45 20s. The alloy wheel design is new. Actually, this alloy wheel looks nice. However, it could be better still. And you obviously get this beautiful color, which I kind of like because it kind of having this shiny element inside. Love it. Coming to the side, it says Quattro right here because this is obviously all-wheel drive. It says Audi Q7 TFSI Quattro here as well, and blackened out B pillar, C pillar. You get a roof rail, which I don't know if it's functional or not. There's no drama from the mirrors because it doesn't project anything at night. However, there's a camera here. In fact, the lights also don't have any show as such, so they just turn on and off. They don't have this animation which other Audi cars are having. The rear tire size is the same as the front tire size. Meanwhile, fuel goes in here. There is no diesel, which is another issue here. Coming to the rear of the car, again, it is the same as before, but the lights have been revised. Yes, these elements on the inside are new here. The bumper has been revised, and now you can actually see the exhaust because in the previous model, the exhaust was hidden below the bumper. You get 6 parking sensors here. This is the rear fog light, and I think the reverse light is right there. When you open this, well, I'll just do that. Okay, let's open the boot. When you open it, the light will shift from there to there, because that's sort of a regulation. So yeah, that is become the tail light now. The problem here is that although the boot is decent size right now, even with the 3 rows up, where do you keep the parcel shelf and all these elements? So this is actually the separator. You can extend it and you can open this and also use it to just partition things so that they don't fall here or there. And below here, you obviously get a few things, which is basically, I think, for the audio system. Yeah, I think that's the subwoofer of the car. How do you put the seats down? Very simple. All I have to do is press a button there, and there it drops down the headrest and it folds. Now the boot carrying capacity is 865 liters. I can actually put or fold down the second row of seats as well. And when I do that, the space is a massive 2050 liters or something of that sort, which is crazy, making this car really a wagon in the real sense. Anyways, let's put the seats back up, and there it goes. You get a proper seat belt for both the rear passengers, which is a good thing, but I have to put this up manually. It goes down automatically, or I can just pull this to do that as well. But if I use these buttons, electric for the rear seats, the third row of seats, and I can put the air suspension up and down from here because it obviously has an air suspension, right? So I can put the ride height up or down if I so wish. There's not much here other than a light here. Obviously, light is there on both the sides. In fact, there's a light here as well on the top, and it gets the power function too. So there it shuts. It gets a rear wiper washer. It gets a rear spoiler with a high mounted stop lamp, a shark fin antenna as well. In fact, it gets the 2D Audi logo both at the front as well as the rear, and you get a spray which actually comes out to clean the rear camera, and the number plate light is actually quite bright. It does not say 55 TFSI anywhere. However, it says Q7, which is blackened out, which you really can't see. It's a bit dim. And this connecting chrome treatment, which already came in the last facelift, is also here still. And here you get a sunblind, which is not the easiest to operate because you have to be precise of where you hang it or slot it in. Door pockets are big at the rear. You get an ashtray as well, and it has a 19 speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system with 730 watt output. It's absolutely amazing, the sound quality. Now you can do a lot here in terms of moving the seats. So I think this is quite upright. I can pull this to fold it down, and then in order to put it up, I have to push this, pull it, and there it goes. And then I can sit in the third row of seats, which don't have much space. It's not even best for children because there is absolute lack of under thigh support. So you sit in a knees up position here. Obviously, there's some amount of storage space here. Says airbag right there because this car has got 8 airbags. Speaker placement on the top, light placement there. All you need to do is just touch the light like this. No, not here. You have to actually press a button, otherwise you can just touch the light. So space is not really great. Meanwhile, you can adjust the seats from here. So I can put the seats down from here as well and put it up back too. It says Audi with some badging there. Now in order to put this up, I need to pull this up like this. This is upright, and then I can push it to recline it completely. So yeah, that is a recline angle, that is upright angle. Yeah, it's quite comfortable here, and I can put the seats ahead and behind by pulling this, which does not happen with one hand. No, doesn't happen with one hand. You need both your hands. So at this price, Audi definitely should have offered us electric adjust. We should have had buttons to just move it and tumble it, but no, that's not there for the second row, unfortunately. Gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning system. You get 2 USB-C charging sockets, a 12-volt charging socket below. Rear AC vents are almost everywhere, and height adjustable seat belts, a hook, another hook, handle, touch the light to turn it on. Yeah, there you go. And obviously a coat hook as well. Good amount of space here. Under thigh support is also decent, not the best but decent. Headroom is actually quite adequate. Scooped out, get magazine holders as well, and you obviously get an armrest here which opens. All you have to do is just press this button, and there it opens with twin cup holders. And center passenger also gets a head along with a proper seat belt. The dashboard remains more or less the same as before, so not much has changed here honestly, but you get this new wood treatment, I believe. Yeah, the changes are quite minimal. There's no soft close door function, so you have to bang close the door, obviously. Request sensors on all the doors, so yeah, keyless entry, nicely done here. And the glove box is decent size. In fact, this glove box is beautifully lined too, and you get the locking function, so you can lock the glove box if you want. It says Quattro here. Yeah, they have to keep reminding everyone that this is obviously having Quattro all-wheel drive. The wipers are quite interesting. Can you see the design? The spray actually comes out from the wiper. The nozzle has been placed here, which is a very unique way of doing the nozzle. Yeah, that's very innovative. That's Voxsprung Dutch technique, but I would have appreciated more of Voxsprung Dutch technique on the inside, because yeah, the car does lack quite a lot of features which its competitors are offering now. Now it obviously gets memory seats. I press a button and there you can see the seat is going back. The steering wheel is also moving up because everything is linked to the memory, but does not get seat ventilation or heating or massage. Although there's this dummy button which usually when you press in an Audi car, you'll go to the menu for the massage function. You get a proper dead pedal there. Yeah, the door pockets are huge. You can keep a 2-liter bottle right there. Nice quality of the switch gear, and these are the controls for the lights. The problem is everything is so haptic now that it's a bit of a problem getting used to it initially, at least. But once you get used to it, you will be fine, trust me on this, because every time you press a button, you have to actually click it. Anyways, this can be moved as well. Here you get 2 USB-C charging sockets, a wireless charging pad too, and this is piano black, which is obviously a fingerprint magnet. You get 2 cup holders here, a 12-volt charging socket, electric parking brake, auto hold function, and a nice gear selector which feels like a gear selector because it has a Tiptronic function. The key slots in here, so they have a proper place for the key. That is a level of attention to detail. This is obviously auto dimming. Check this out, okay? This extends, and then you can also open another visor. So if I push this here to block the sun, I can open this. So dual sun visors on each side, which is just amazing. And all I need to do is open this, then the light will also turn on. So there's a mirror here, there's a handle to hold on to right there. Let's open the sun blind because it obviously gets a massive panoramic sunroof, which brings in a lot of airy feeling. The quality of the cabin is actually quite nice. It feels very robust, amazing in terms of quality, fit, finish and all is faultless here. So I'm quite happy with the quality of the car. I only feel that it deserves more features now because the car has been on sale since quite some time now. It took so long, I had to blabber random stuff because this is so big. Yeah, it's massively big, that's what she said. Let's open the glass as well. and there it opens. I think it will open till here. Then I press another button and then it opens further. Now this is a huge opening that even an elephant cannot come in from here, but still it's actually big enough. And here you've got some light controls, again touch operated light controls, which is amazing, which actually brings me to the screens of the car. So this is a 12.3-inch virtual cockpit, this is a 10.1-inch infotainment system, and this is an 8.6-inch screen. So there are a lot of screens here. This is a bit distracting. However, the virtual cockpit has been updated now and it has got new menus too. You can see different views for the instrument cluster. However, you have to go into the menu here and change it, which is a bit time consuming, unlike Mercedes, which just lets you press a button to change it, and then you can browse through a lot of stuff here. So it will tell you media information, and then you can get into the maps, and then you can get to the full views of the map. So yeah, the quality is good, but not the fastest to operate as such. But the virtual cockpit is awesome. There is no heads-up display here. Steering is the same old with really nice buttons. This is for the volume. This is to browse through that multi-information display. And you have got voice commands. You can set this button for whatever you want. The horn is actually decent. Yeah, it's loud. It's German. It has to be. This is also kind of dated now because the latest ones in the latest Audis is just amazing. There's not much you can do here other than get into car, wherein you can get into the Audi Drive Select. There are 7 freaking drive modes and you can raise the right height of the car, which is quite nice. You can get into the car details, which shows you this cool graphic as well. And then there's something known as efficiency assist, which rates you on how well you're driving. And seats has nothing actually. I was expecting massage to be there, but no, nothing is there. Just the entry exit seat which moves. Air conditioning is interesting because it has an ionizer and you can also opt for a perfume. So I think this is the perfume button. I don't know where the perfume actually sits into this car. Air conditioning is an absolute chiller. This screen is basically for the air conditioning, so I can change the fan speed, I can change the temperature from here, and I can get into the stop start system from here. Can turn it off right there. This is for downhill assist. This is for self park. Yes, this car has got self park, which actually comes into this menu here, and you can turn off the screen from here. Drive select buttons, traction control, and this is for the rear and the front defoggers. Meanwhile, physical switch for the volume, which is also to go ahead and behind the track. Engine start button. This is for the press this button to come into the drive assist. Just lane departure warning and fatigue warning and distraction warning is there. There's no forward collision warning. This is for self park function. This is for the parking camera, which is actually quite interesting because firstly, like I told you, you can actually clean the camera. Yeah, that's right. You can clean the rear camera, for which I need to be in reverse. So let's come into reverse. And now there's this clean reversing camera. Audio turns on automatically at times, which can get a bit frustrating. Yeah, let's just shut the audio system. There's so many modes here for the camera because you can see a front camera, you can see side. This is the top view. Obviously, it has a 360-degree parking camera with, thankfully, something known as a 3D view. Look at the way the camera changes. That is so funky and funny. So let's actually come out of 3D view. You see, I have to actually press it nicely. Then only something changes. So it has got adaptive guidelines. And when you turn now, the camera also turns. Actually, it's the software which is making it turn. The 3D view is not that advanced because firstly, the car's color is not the one which I'm driving and it doesn't have a sunroof here. In fact, the design at the front is of the pre-facelift model. It is not of the latest model. So that's a bit of a problem. However, if I give an indicator turn on the lights, that is visible. The alloys are also of the older car. The rear tail lights are also of the older car. This is old. I thought they updated this whole system. Yeah, the UI has been updated, but they forgot to change this. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now let's come out of this menu for which I have to be in park. I am already in park. The good thing is that there's not much inside this screen for you to actually go about, tweaking, but I'll still show you around. So there's something known as lights and vision, background lighting, because it has got around, I think, 5 or 6 pre-selected ones, and then you can change contours and surfaces, and there are 30 options, but you notice how many buttons I have to press to reach here. This is just too many buttons to be pressed. This needs to be a bit simpler. It's too confusing, and you can obviously link it to the drive mode as well. Then exterior lighting, there's nothing much. Yeah, honestly, this car doesn't have much. It shouldn't be called a facelift. It's just model year change probably. And then settings and privacy, you can change a lot of stuff, including checking the tire pressure monitor, deciding if you want to do a wheel change, how the air suspension needs to operate, if you want to attach a trailer, how the air suspension needs to operate, all those things. And there's another menu which I need to show you, and I think we are done with this particular infotainment system. So we come into this particular thing wherein MMI is where I can decide, sorry, in Audi virtual cockpit I can decide one of those 3, which again is something which has been there in Audi cars since a lot of time. We need new things here, please, because this is, although good, needs to be better now because it's been there since such a long time. In fact, here you have the navigation. Where the navigation, let me open it. Yeah, The navigation is beautiful. So why don't you go full screen? I'm asking you to go full screen. There we can come into the full screen. Look at the quality of this. It's amazing. Yeah, overall quality in the cabin is just amazing, and it has a continuous AC vent treatment, which Audi was the first to get, which obviously a lot of people have copied, like Maruti Suzuki and Hyundai. Obviously seats are very nice, extremely comfortable. The car feels super airy. There's so much headroom as well, and quality seems almost faultless here. Just more features are needed, a generation change probably. And these are the controls for the automatic wipers. These are the controls for the automatic headlights, and that is for the cruise control. It obviously gets paddle shifters as well. Look at the stitching, beautifully done. But how is it to drive? Because it's the same as before. All right, it's time to start driving this car. Whenever the screen turns on, it has this nice projection of the Audi logo. Yes, this sound, which is the typical Audi song, which also, or rather the Audi sound, not the song, which also comes in the Lamborghini Urus. And there's actually a secret storage space here, which is so secret that I forgot to show you only. And it has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, but wired. Can you believe it? Wired. Okay, we're going to come into the car details, which is the tilt angle display here. And straight away, I'm going to change the drive mode. We are going to come into dynamic mode here, and I'm going to turn off the traction control as well, which is I press it, ESC Sport, I keep it pressed, it turns off completely. Yeah, that's good. We come into drive here, air conditioning off, gearbox into sports, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, revving the motor, revs till 2500 RPM. And we are off to 100 kilometers per hour already. That is the kind of acceleration we have here, which is amazing. Don't go by this, it's a bit misleading, because I think no, there is a positive slope, so the car is actually faster than this, but we'll come to a proper this thing. So there was an incline actually when we were accelerating, but we will come to a proper road to test the acceleration of this car. Now, this is a 3-liter TFSI engine, which is a V6 petrol. The diesel has been discontinued. There is no 3-liter diesel, unfortunately, and that is one of the biggest problems with Audi in India right now. They don't have diesel engines because the segment is quite diesel dominated. This engine produces 340 horsepower and a torque output which is equally impressive at 500 Newton meters. Result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a claimed 5.6 seconds. We're going to be testing the claim today. And a top speed which is electronically limited to 250 kilometers per hour, which is also quite nice. The engine is very smooth, very refined, very silent, amazing. However, once you push it now, it has this sporty sound to it, which is also quite nice. And I've got manual control with using the paddles obviously, but it does not hold on to a gear because it will upshift. It redlines around 6,500 RPM, which is not such a big red line. Come on, cars need to redline at 7,000 RPM, and the car is super well insulated. You don't hear anything from outside. That's how smooth and refined it is. In fact, this car is having, I think, run flat tires because there's no spare wheel. Yeah, I did not show you a spare wheel, so it does not have a spare wheel, but Audi's like, we have a tire mobility kit probably. Anyways, onto the throttle. Yeah, manual mode is there for what? I don't know. It doesn't give me manual control of things at all. This is a 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox. It's decently quick with shifts. It's actually quite smooth. Around the corners, you do feel the body roll. The steering is not having much feel or feedback as such, but that's a typical Audi thing because this car is aimed towards comfort. The suspension is a bit on the softer side. Ride quality is very impressive. Obviously, there's good amount of sidewall as well. And this is having the 20-inch wheels. I think the base variant has 19-inch wheels, which is obviously better. The parcel shelf is just hopping from one place to another because there's no place to just lock it in. And that brings me to the fact that this car's turbo lag is very well contained because it has a 48-volt mild hybrid system, which obviously gives that initial boost. Yeah, it's not much. They've not given figures at how much boost it gives. I think it must be giving 20 horsepower or 200 Newton meters. Usually the case with mild hybrid, but I'm not too sure what it's giving here because there are no numbers to speak of. However, it ensures that turbo lag is well contained. So low end is good, mid range is fantastic, and top end is also decent here. So the engine is very linear, doesn't push you back into the seat, but does perform quite well. It's a smooth car, it's refined. Ride quality is quite good. I love the way the car rides. It's quite amazing. Let's quickly do the wiper test because we can. Obviously, we're going to use the wipers. And look at the way it feels so magical. Now the spray comes out from the wipers, so that is again very nicely done. Now let me quickly change the Audi virtual cockpit. I just wish there were buttons here for me to do it immediately. I can just change the view like that. I can't change the display, which is a bit concerning because Mercedes lets you do everything here only with the buttons. But to do that, I have an additional step to take in this car, which I'll show you right now. First, let's make a turn there. So yeah, high speed stability is actually very good. Feels very glued to the road, this car. And because this is quattro all-wheel drive, there's always so much grip. Even with the traction control off, I try to push the car like crazy. There is no sound from the tires, no sound from the wheels. Doesn't feel hairy at all. There's 7 freaking drive modes. The usual drive modes which you obviously get in Audi cars. So right now we are in dynamic. There's obviously auto, which will automatically detect what it should be. There's comfort, there's efficiency, and before I could cheat my way to tell you the others, it closed. There's all-road and there is off-road. So air suspension, you can raise the ride height. There are 5 different ride heights in off-road. Obviously the ride height goes to the maximum. Meanwhile, the horn is good. Come on, yeah, that is a nice pull. Yeah, it pulls very nicely here. So we're going to come to the S performance. Now it asks me to confirm I want to change it. So this is quite sporty here, but do we need such a sporty cluster in an Audi Q7? I don't know, I'm not sure, but it looks quite nice. I like this cluster. We're going to downshift and let's see how it goes to the red line. Come on, yeah, now we're in second, downshifting. Yeah, it doesn't hold on to a gear. Maybe if I put the Triptronic function to the left, it will hold on to a gear. Let's try this as well. No, it does not hold on to a gear at all. That is a bit of a problem here, and there's this big notification coming all the time. So that is how the view looks here, which is actually quite classy. So it's not very sophisticated or very techy as such, but it is definitely very classy here. Something I definitely like here. Now the point is that Audi is very late here because the Q7 was first launched in 2015. Actually, the first generation was launched in 2005, was on sale till 2015. In 2015, the second generation model came in, which is this one. And then the facelift was launched in India in 2022. They discontinued the car in 2020 because of BS6 emission norms. Took 2 years to decide we should not do diesel and we should just get the petrol. And then 2024, so Jan 2022 was when the facelift came of the Q7. And now in November 2024, so after almost 2.5 years, almost 3 years you can say, because okay, let's take this with a little bit of an aggression. It says Swift here. What is so swifty about a bollard? Anyways, yeah, the traction is off. I don't know why it's kicking in. So Jan 2022 was when the facelift came, and now in November 2024, the second facelift of this car has come. Meanwhile, this car is in its second generation. Its rivals are in the 4th generation, and they were launched. Both of them were launched in 2019. I'm talking about the BMW X5 and the Mercedes GLE. Let's reset this and let's see what is the best we can time this car right now. So left foot on the brake. Before that, let's come into the dynamic mode here. Change that as well. And right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. That's 0 to 100 in 5.7 seconds, which is quite near to Audi's claim time. Audi is one of the few manufacturers whose claims are not optimistic at all, rather pessimistic, because you are able to run the car faster than what Audi claims. That is so cool now. So performance is actually very good to the point that you definitely end up exceeding the speed limits because it just goes to high speed so effortlessly, which begs the question, should you be buying a Q7? Because obviously it's an old car now and it's got a second facelift. Usually that never happens with cars, but kind of feels dated. Yes or no? Yes, it does. But what is the, okay, we have to exit from here. So what is the solution to this? The solution is very, very, very simple. If you want to save some money and want a car which is very classy, yes, the Q7 is the one for you. To put it into perspective, this top-end model, which is obviously the Q7 technology, I think, there's a Premium Plus and there's a technology. Technology is obviously 10 lakhs more. Premium Plus is 1.06 crores on road Mumbai. This is 1.16 crores on road Mumbai. Is actually the same price as the base variant of its rivals. So the Mercedes GLE starts at rupees 1.18 crores and the BMW X5 starts at rupees 1.16 crores, going all the way to 1.35 crores for the X5 and 1.39 crores for the Mercedes GLE. But those heavy prices are obviously for the V6, for the 6-cylinder diesels. Yeah, 6-cylinder diesels are obviously the expensive ones, but there's no diesel here, so obviously that is a big bummer. Do you like this cluster mode? I think it's a bit too funky for this car. Anyways, this car has got self-locking differential. Yes, it's a self-locking differential with automatic slip control differential as well. But obviously this is not a car which you would like to take off-road because it's sort of a soft roader of sorts. But still, it is decently capable because Quattro is a very beautiful system. It works very nicely. So what is the other USP of this car? This car is actually a 7-seater. In a world where all its rivals are 5-seaters, this Q7, although not much useful, the third row, is a 7-seater. And I just wish Audi brings in the next generation of the Q7, because that should be a big step up, considering it's still holding on to its own in spite of being 10 years old. So obviously Audi was the last to this party, at least the German SUV party, because the GLE, which actually started life as the ML class, came first way back in 1997, and then BMW was very quick in churning out the X5 within 2 years in 1999. The first generation of this car came in 2005. Yet this is in its second generation, and the other cars are in the fourth generation. So yeah, things have moved quite a lot, and brands obviously need to update their cars. Specifically, Audi needs to definitely bring the Q7 in line with competitors, because this is a car which has an iconic following. Especially the first generation was so good, so bold, that Bollywood loved it. Now Bollywood only cares about Range Rovers. They also went and bought the GLS Maybach, because it's just a trend of sorts. Now coming to the price of this car, I was telling it's 1.16 crores. In fact, the registration cost of this car alone is rupees 13.5 lakhs, and the first year insurance cost of this car happens to be rupees 4 lakhs, and then the sky is the limit in terms of what all options you can opt for. But this is assembled in India via the CKD route. That's such a nice color on the Virtus. Matte looks amazing. I think it's completely debadged. The wheels are the same though. Bigger wheels, lower ground clearance would look so awesome. Now, why am I talking about a VW car? Because this car comes under the Skoda umbrella in India, the Skoda VW group alliance which they have made. So it obviously sits in there, and that is where the plant is also there, because the plant is the Aurangabad plant where this car is actually assembled in India. Over bad roads now, you don't have to worry at all, because firstly the ride is good, ground clearance is decent. You can obviously increase the ground clearance if you want, and I'm just going to come to this classic one because this is the one I like the most. We are going to come to the navigation menu here, and the worst of speed breakers don't cause any trouble for this car at all. Okay, this is a big one, so we're just going to slow down a bit. Fuel efficiency isn't that great. Right now it's saying 3.8 kilometers per liter. Yeah, that is bad, but then I would give credit to the car being on for a long duration of time, and that's the reason why the mileage has suffered a lot. But still, this car is going to return only single digit numbers. Don't expect anything better than that, because obviously the weight of the car and a petrol engine with an SUV doesn't really go hand in hand. Because yes, this car ends up drinking a lot of fuel, and that's another problem. Yeah, there is no diesel. A diesel is so important, because SUVs need to be diesel. That torque rush and the better efficiency have a huge benefit, obviously. And now it's time to do the brake test. Oh, that is a lot of ABS pulsating, and the hazards have turned on. Hazards off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Yeah, that is smooth. Even on these bad roads, the car does go very smoothly, which actually brings me to what all parameters change. So it has got air suspension, so obviously you can configure all these things. So you can configure the drive system between efficient, balanced and dynamic. You can change the suspension between comfort, balanced and dynamic, and you can change the steering between comfort, balanced and dynamic. That is an individual mode. In dynamic mode now, everything is obviously naturally very dynamic here. I love the fact how the car actually rolls there when you get into the drive select here. So guys, this is my video of the Audi Q7. Not much has changed. It's the same as before, but still quite impressive, although Audi really needs to give it a big update to really be able to compete with the BMW X5 and the Mercedes GLE, because those cars are 4 years younger in terms of the generation, and 4 years is a lot in automobile life cycle terms. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye-bye.